In this video, we're going to look at adding and subtracting algebraic fractions. Now, before you do this, make sure you are comfortable with getting your lowest common denominator, as that skill is going to be necessary for adding and subtracting. When we look at our first question, we have 1 over 21ax plus 5 over 84a, and we want to add these together. So our first step is to determine the lowest common denominator. If we look at our numbers 21 and 84, we can see that 21 times 4 will give us 84. This means that our lowest common denominator involves the lowest common multiple between 21 and 84, which is 84. There's also a common a between them, as well as an x from the first term. Our second step is to get equivalent fractions. So think about what you would have to multiply that first fraction by to make your denominator 84ax. Well, our first fraction already has an ax, but it is missing a 4, which means we need to multiply by 4. In our second fraction, we have an 84a, but to get the 84ax, we would have to multiply by x. That gives us our equivalent fractions, which means we can now add these together. When we add them together, our numerator becomes 4 plus 5x, and our denominator becomes our lowest common denominator, which is 84a. Let's look at a second example. Here we have 4 over x squared minus x minus 3 over 2x cubed minus 2x squared. So our first step again is getting our lowest common denominator. We are going to do that by factoring. So our first expression has the denominator x squared minus x. This can be factored to x minus 1. Our second fraction has the denominator 2x cubed minus 2x squared, and we can common factor out a 2x squared, leaving us with an x minus 1. So our lowest common denominator will have a 2. When we compare the x and the x squared, the x squared has the higher exponent, so make sure you take that. And they both have an x minus 1 as well. This brings us to step 2, which is get equivalent fractions. In order to do that, we have to multiply our first fraction by 2 and x. It already has 1x, but it doesn't have the 2 or the second x. So our numerator and our denominator both get multiplied by 2x. Remember, when you multiply the denominator, you're just going to get your lowest common denominator. So I'm going to write that instead. And our second fraction actually has everything we need, so that we can keep exactly the same. But I'm going to write the denominator in factored form, just to make it easier to see. After that, we can go ahead and subtract. So when we subtract this, our numerator ends up being 4 minus 2x, which is 8x. We are subtracting the 3, and our denominator is 2x squared times x minus 1. Okay, last question. In our last question, we have 5b over 3a minus 6ac minus 7c over 3b squared minus 12c. So before we do anything with this, I'm just going to focus on our lowest common denominator, and I'm going to figure that out by factoring these expressions. So 3ab minus 6ac, that can be common factored. B and a are common between both terms, and it leaves you with a b minus a c. For our second fraction, we have 3b squared minus 12c squared. I'm going to start by factoring out the 3, leaving us with a b squared minus 4c squared. And then I have a difference of squares. So 3b minus 2c, b plus 2c. And I see a slight mistake in factoring the first one. This is supposed to be a 2c. So sometimes you catch that a little bit later. Our lowest common denominator is going to include a 3 for sure. We need to include an a from the first term. B minus 2c is in both. And b plus 2c needs to be there as well. So in this case, when we are getting our equivalent fractions, our first fraction needs to be multiplied by b plus 2c, and our second fraction needs to be multiplied by a. So let's go ahead and do this. Our first fraction will be 5b. We are multiplying that by b plus 2c, and our denominator is now going to be the common denominator. So 3a, b minus 2c, b plus 2c. Then we're subtracting our second fraction, which is missing an a. So our numerator will now be 7ac, and our denominator will be the common denominator, 3a, b minus 2c, b plus 2c. Then we can go ahead and simplify and subtract. So expanding out the first fraction, the numerator, I'm actually going to do that on the side first. So 5b, b plus 2c. We're going to multiply the 5b through, giving us 5b squared plus 10bc. When we go to subtract these then, our numerator will be 5b squared plus 10bc minus 7ac, and our denominator will be our lowest common denominator, which was 3a, b minus 2c, b plus 2c.